Snowfall warning. Issued at Friday 2:28 a.m. April 25, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Heavy snow is expected tonight and Saturday, with total amounts of 10 to 15 centimeters. Snow will begin this evening and continue through Saturday. Snow will taper off Saturday evening. ###. Visibility may be suddenly reduced at times in heavy snow. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nstorm@ec.gc.ca, call 1-800-239-0484 or post reports on X using #NUStorm. Recommended action. Prepare for quickly changing and deteriorating travel conditions. Blizzard warning. Issued at Friday 3:25 a.m. April 25, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Blizzard conditions with near-zero visibility are expected Saturday. Near-zero visibility in snow and blowing snow will begin early Saturday morning. Conditions will improve Saturday night as winds weaken, but poor visibility in blowing snow will likely continue on Sunday. ###. Travel is expected to be hazardous due to reduced visibility. Visibility will be suddenly reduced to near zero at times in heavy snow and blowing snow. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nstorm@ec.gc.ca, call 1-800-239-0484 or post reports on X using #NUStorm. Recommended action. Limit outdoor activities. Ensure that shelter is provided for pets and outdoor animals. The Toronto Maple Leafs 2024-25 regular season has officially wrapped, and now, only the Stanley Cup playoffs await. And really, for a meaningless Thursday night tilt against a middling opponent, a Game 82 where the central goal was simply to get to the end of the evening without adding any more injuries to the pile, you couldn't have drawn it up much better. Definitely weird, veteran defender Chris Tanev said from the locker room after the final buzzer had sounded. You're just trying to feel it out. You see what happened to Dallas last night. Jason Robertson got hurt, and you obviously don't want any of your key guys to get hurt. The Maple Leafs certainly looked like they were playing to avoid injury for long stretches of this closing time meeting with the Detroit Red Wings. By the end of the second period, the home side found themselves losing 3-1, the Wings outshooting them 27-12, a Justin Hall revenge game percolating. Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet. Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet. The NHL's best are ready to battle for the right to hoist the Stanley Cup. Watch every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus beginning on April 19th. Broadcast schedule. But fresh off a run that had seen Toronto win 4 straight games, and 8 of their past 9, the Maple Leafs decided to avoid ending their division title clinching season on a sour note. So, they turned it on for the final 20, scoring an early third-period stunner, a final second equalizer, and an overtime winner to take this thing before the final buzzer. Curtains. And who else to get the winner in the final game of the regular season than the one man in a Maple Leaf sweater who might have needed it most, trade deadline acquisition Scott Laughton, whose struggles since joining his boyhood club have been well documented and much discussed. It was nice, Laughton said of his clincher after the dust had settled on the 4-3 Maple Leafs win. To get out in overtime and end the season on a high note, it's big. We found a way. Though the confidence boost was surely appreciated on Laughton's end, in his coach's eyes, it wasn't necessarily needed. He'd already seen progress from the Oakville, Ontario product before he corralled a puck off the end boards, shifted it to his forehand, and wired it past Cam Talbot. Play video. If you go back 3 games now, he's really come around for us, head coach Craig Berube said of the depth pivot. I thought in Buffalo he was excellent. Before that, he was even playing good hockey. He's got some chemistry going with those guys, starting to feel a lot more comfortable. I was happy for him to get that goal in OT. You score a goal, you feel good about yourself. But it's not the goal so much, it's just how he's playing the game. It was a couple more unlikely culprits who got Toronto to that extra frame. With the clock winding down and Berube managing the minutes of his squad's offensive juggernauts, the fans packing the stands had all but accepted Game 82 had gotten away from them. A worthwhile price for heading into Game 1 with a healthy lineup. And then came Leafs defender Philippe Myers, pulling out his best Cale Makar impression with a dazzling tally that saw him embarrass two Red Wings, first darting by Tyler Mott, then dangling Austin Watson, before waiting out Cam Talbot and sniping one by the veteran netminder. Needless to say, the bench enjoyed it. That might be the goal of the year, Berube said of the tally post-game, before adding with a chuckle, I wasn't sure who it was for a while, watching it. Hell of a goal. I mean, hell of a goal. Highlight of the night, for sure, added Tanev. Kansas City, Missouri. The Kansas City, Missouri Police Department is working to recover a body in the Missouri River. Emergency crews were called to the Missouri River near 7808 East Levee Road shortly after noon on a possible body in the river. Both Kansas City Fire and KCPD crews responded to begin a search. About 12:30 KCFD officials confirmed a body has been located on the south side of the river, south of the railroad bridge. Kansas City police are now working to recover the body and begin an investigation. We have a crew en route, and will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available. A Monroe County man was seriously injured after crashing his vehicle near Paris, Missouri, early Thursday morning. According to a crash report from the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the 49-year-old man was traveling westbound on US 24 when he ran off the right side of the highway, resulting in his car overturning and striking a tree. The man was taken by ambulance to the Hannibal Regional Hospital, according to the crash report. The man was not wearing a seatbelt, the report said. Kansas City, Missouri. The Kansas City, Missouri Police Department is working to recover a body in the Missouri River. Emergency crews were called to the Missouri River near 7808 East Levee Road shortly after noon on a possible body in the river. Both Kansas City Fire and KCPD crews responded to begin a search. About 12:30 KCFD officials confirmed a body has been located on the south side of the river, south of the railroad bridge. Kansas City police are now working to recover the body and begin an investigation. We have a crew en route, and will bring you more information as soon as it becomes available. Mid-Missouri communities are ripe for an LA-style wildfire disaster, and experts have rung the alarm bells for years. Communities near the Lake of the Ozarks, in particular, have a higher chance of wildfires igniting than nearly every other community in the nation, and the likelihood is only expected to increase in the years to come. Ground zero for severe urban wildfire concerns in Missouri is Lebanon. The city's wildfire likelihood is higher than 84% of communities in the nation, and 99% higher than other communities in Missouri, according to the U.S. Forest Service's Wildfire Risk to Communities dataset. The cause is, in part, due to the region's woody encroachment of eastern red cedar and other non-fire-tolerant vegetation, driven by a more than century-long absence of fire on Missouri's landscape. The fire suppression regime, however, is slowly being reversed throughout the state. A prescribed burn association movement is working to reintroduce good fire to Missouri through prescribed low-intensity fires. Federal and state agencies largely can't burn in the state because of the wide-sweeping privatization of land. Around 93% of Missouri's 44.6 million acres is privately owned, meaning officials have to convince landowners that fire is both good and necessary on their land before a prescribed fire can be set. That convincing is done on the neighborhood level by prescribed burn associations, or PBAs, in the state overseen by the Missouri Prescribed Fire Council. The most consequential of these associations is the Niangua Basin Prescribed Burn Association, which oversees Missouri's most wildfire-prone counties of Camden, Dallas, Hickory, and Laclede. It's become an organization of learning and neighbors helping neighbors, Lance Dunbar, who runs the PBA, said. The PBAs were the genesis of the Missouri Department of Conservation to help organize prescribed burning. They're now in almost every county in the state. Work will soon get underway to demolish 2 buildings on Wolfville's Main Street to make way for an expansion of Carl's independent grocery store. Brampton, Ontario-based Loblaw Companies Limited purchased 2 properties to the immediate west of Carl's independent grocer for the expansion, the former Naked Crepe and Rolled Oat Cafe locations. The site has been barricaded and fenced in, and the sidewalk on Main Street in front of the properties has been closed to prepare for demolition work. Friday, April 11, 2025, Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. The 2025 to 2026 capital budget was on the agenda at last evening's council meeting. This year's total comes in at just over $5.4 million and brings significant investments to a variety of projects. The budget was approved unanimously by council. Topping the list for this year's budget are key projects carried over from the previous year. These include more investment in trucks at the Yarmouth Fire Department, design work needed for a future refit of the wastewater treatment plant, and more upgrades at the Yarmouth International Ferry Terminal. A significant investment will also be made to replace the roof at Mariners on Main, complete an underground infrastructure project on Water Street, and replace snow removal equipment. The town is also providing support toward future renovations at the Yarmouth Curling Club. Another capital budget has been passed, said Mayor Pam Mood, with a focus on those items that are necessary in terms of both maintenance and growth, and as always, on what will serve the community best in terms of quality of life and growth. Keeping in mind the worldwide economic climate, particularly tariffs and more from our neighbor, staff have been extra vigilant in keeping a close finger on the pulse of those things that will affect us most. This allows us to do what we do with a measure of confidence, even in times like this. 2025 to 26 capital budget highlights. Wastewater treatment plant. This important investment will be completed in 2 phases. Phase 1 will see electrical and structural construction upgrades completed. Phase 2 comprises engineering design work to prepare for the facility's upgrades to secondary treatment technology. Total investment in the project is just over $1.9 million, with the province and the town of Yarmouth each contributing $991,325. At last evening's meeting, Council awarded a tender for the project to CBCL Limited. Water Street Underground Project. This is a unique opportunity where a proposed housing development has triggered the need for an infrastructure upgrade. The developer and the town are cost-sharing the upgrades. The work will happen on Water Street, between Gardner Street and Richards Lane. Total investment for the work comes in at $715,000. Mariners on Main. The former YMCA building purchased by the town in 2020 has served the town, and greater community, as a bridge solution to keep a community pool open until the new expansion is completed at Mariners Center. The building will continue to house Mariners on Main until the expansion is completed, 2026. Options are being explored to repurpose the building so that it can continue to serve as a key anchor for Yarmouth's downtown once the expansion is completed. The roof is over 40 years old and must be replaced. Total investment, $630,000. Ferry terminal upgrades. More work will be completed at the International Ferry Terminal, and the Cat Ferry, a crucial tourism link that services our region and the entire province. Last year's budget included $247,050 for work on the dock pontoons. There is more important work to be done this year. Total investment for 25 to 26, $220,000. Investments in fire service. As part of a 4-year investment, $1,170,000 will go toward replacing 3 trucks at a total cost of $4,503,781. Investments in snow removal equipment. A total of $220,000 has been budgeted toward replacement of a plow truck and sidewalk plow. Street paving. This year's investment in paving comes in at $450,000, including $250,000 carried over from last year. Yarmouth Curling Club. Last year, the Yarmouth Curling Club presented Council with plans for future renovations of its facility. Council has committed to a 3-year plan to provide $100,000 annually to assist in upgrades of this important community asset. More than a decade after the old Halifax Library closed, the city has begun to explore options for the site's future that could include demolition of the Municipal Heritage Building. The municipality recently passed $100,000 in this year's budget to hire a consultant to make a plan for the Memorial Library property. A Halifax spokesperson said that work will include public input and other research. Municipal staff have said removing the building, which would see the site become a park with historical interpretation, is the best option for an area with a burial ground that has never been properly acknowledged. It is just one of those classic cases, this burial site, that illustrates how a whole part of our history can just be jettisoned and forgotten, said Jonathan Fowler, anthropology professor at St. Mary's University. There are many parts like that in this city, in this province, in this country. And I welcome the opportunity to engage in the work of remembering. Jonathan Fowler, St. Mary's. Jonathan Fowler is an archaeologist and anthropology professor at St. Mary's University in Halifax. Tyson Koschik /CBC. The Spring Garden Road Library opened in 1951 as a living cenotaph in honor of those who died in the First World War and the Second World War. It became a fixture of public life over the decades, with generations of Haligonians finding favorite books in the shelves, or enjoying fries from Bud the Spud food truck on the grassy area near the street. The library closed in 2014 when the Central Library opened, and has been vacant ever since. Calls mount for vacant Halifax buildings to be turned into housing. Spring Garden Road Memorial Library to close August 30th. Although there was no mention of it in newspapers when it opened, or in council minutes about the location, the library was built on top of the poorhouse burying ground. Its estimated 4,500 people from the neighboring poorhouse, located where the Doyle Building is now, were buried there between the 1760s and mid-1800s. 1840 Spring Garden Halifax painting. An 1840 watercolor of Spring Garden Road looking toward St. Mary's Basilica and the harbor shows the poorhouse burial ground on the left behind a raised wall. Records show the burying ground was originally nearly 1 hectare at the corner of Spring Garden Road and Grafton Street. Alexander Cavalier Mercer / Library and Archives Canada. Poorhouse residents would have been those on the margins of society at the time, including orphans, people with disabilities, those who were homeless, or unwed mothers. People from all backgrounds were buried there, including Mi'kmaq, Black Nova Scotians, and victims of epidemics like smallpox. Records also show people new to Halifax, from around the province or the world, were buried at the site. All of their lives have simply been forgotten. And it just doesn't seem right, does it, said Fowler. Fog Advisory. Issued at Saturday 4:09 p.m. April 26, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Near zero visibility in fog is expected or occurring. Patches of dense fog will dissipate this evening. ####. Visibility may be significantly and suddenly reduced to near zero. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to ownstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #ONStorm. Recommended action. If visibility is reduced while driving, slow down, watch for tail lights ahead and be prepared to stop. Description. Please be advised that a contractor will be working on Huntington Street today. The street will be closed between Pleasant Street and Brunswick Street, from 9 a.m. until approximately 4 p.m. Local traffic only. Affected areas, 1. Closure on Huntington Street between Brunswick and Pleasant. Instructions. Use alternate routes or posted detours. If you are not in the area, avoid the area. Description. The Town of Athabasca Utilities Department will be conducting water service valve mapping in the Cornwall area through the duration of spring, summer, and fall of this year. Staff will be identifying and confirming valve location by partial exposure of the valve access cap. This may include the need to remove any that are found to be covered by sod/grass. Each valve top cap will be painted blue, including an alignment mark on the sidewalk or curb. The township remains in a significant weather event declaration as per Regulation 239/02 of the Municipal Act. During a significant weather event, all roadways and sidewalks are considered to be in a state of repair and may be unsafe to use. Roads may be impacted by downed trees and power lines. If you cannot avoid travel, please drive with care. Township staff are continuing to clear roads, respond to downed trees and address road conditions. Power restoration may take several days due to the scale of damage. The Ramara Fire and Rescue Services continue to manage a high volume of calls and ask the public to call 911 only in an emergency. The weight of the ice is also causing significant damage, with fallen trees along roads making some roads impassable. Residents are advised to continue to stay in their homes and off the roads. This will ensure that township staff, emergency services, and Hydro One can respond effectively. Facility closure updates. The Township of Ramara will be closing the following facilities on Monday, March 31, 2025. The Township Administration Building located at 2297 Highway 12. The Ramara Center located at 5484 Highway 12. Description. The large items collection will take place the week of April 28 to May 1, 2025. Make sure you place your items at the curb before 7 a.m. on Monday, April 28. Please note that pickups will occur without a set schedule, and once an area has been serviced, there will be no return visits. Items made of metal will not be accepted. Wooden box springs are accepted. Description. Water main system repair is scheduled for Tuesday, April 30 ND, 2025 and Wednesday, May 12, 2025 at the locations shown in the attached map. Crews will be on site at around 8 a.m. Time will be determined by circumstances encountered during the repair. Travel will be restricted on 48th Avenue between 50th and 49th Street as well as 46A Avenue at the 50th Street intersection, as equipment and crews will be present and working in the area. Please avoid traveling in this area and obey temporary traffic signs. We apologize for any inconvenience these necessary repairs may cause. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the town office at 7806752063, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., weekdays. Wind warning. Issued at Saturday 4:49 a.m. April 26, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. High winds. What? Wind gusts to 90 km per hour. When? Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Where? Eastern Gaspé Peninsula, including the Gaspé, Perce and Forillon National Park areas, especially near the shoreline. ###. Loose objects may be tossed by the wind and cause injury or damage. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to qstorm@ec.gc.ca or post reports on X using #QCStorm. Blizzard warning. Issued at Saturday 2:40 a.m. April 26, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Blizzard conditions to continue this morning. Winds gusting up to 60 km per hour will cause near zero visibility in falling and blowing snow. Some improvement is forecast on Saturday as the snow tapers off, but any fallen snow will blow around as winds remain strong out of the north. Conditions will improve on Saturday night. ###. Travel is expected to be hazardous due to reduced visibility. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nstorm@ec.gc.ca. Call 1-800-239-0484 or post reports on X using #NewStorm. Recommended action. If you do travel and become lost, remain where you are until the blizzard has passed. If you must travel, keep others informed of your schedule and destination and carry an emergency kit and mobile phone. Ensure that shelter is provided for pets and outdoor animals. Blizzard warning. Issued at Saturday 2:40 a.m. April 26, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Blizzard conditions to continue this morning. Winds gusting up to 60 km per hour will cause near zero visibility in falling and blowing snow. Some improvement is forecast on Saturday as the snow tapers off, but any fallen snow will blow around as winds remain strong out of the north. Conditions will improve on Saturday night. ###. Travel is expected to be hazardous due to reduced visibility. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, send an email to nstorm@ec.gc.ca. Call 1-800-239-0484 or post reports on X using #NewStorm. Recommended action. If you do travel and become lost, remain where you are until the blizzard has passed. If you must travel, keep others informed of your schedule and destination and carry an emergency kit and mobile phone. Ensure that shelter is provided for pets and outdoor animals. Some ChatGPT users have noticed a strange phenomenon recently. Occasionally, the chatbot refers to them by name as it reasons through problems. That wasn't the default behavior previously, and several users claim ChatGPT is mentioning their names despite never having been told what to call them. Reviews are mixed. One user, software developer and AI enthusiast Simon Willison, called the feature creepy and unnecessary. Another developer, Nick Dobus, said he hated it. A cursory search of X turns up scores of users confused by, and wary of, ChatGPT's first-name basis behavior. It's like a teacher keeps calling my name, LOL, wrote one user. Yeah, I don't like it. Does anyone like the thing where O3 uses your name in its chain of thought, as opposed to finding it creepy and unnecessary? pic.twitter.com/lyr/6bk6j. Simon Willison, at Simonu, April 17, 2025. It's not clear when, exactly, the change happened, or whether it's related to ChatGPT's upgraded memory feature that lets the chatbot draw on past chats to personalize its responses. Some users on X say ChatGPT began calling them by their names even though they disabled memory and related personalization settings. OpenAI hasn't responded to TechCrunch's request for comment. It feels weird to see your own name in the model thoughts. Is there any reason to add that? Will it make it better or just make more errors as I did in my GitHub repos? At OpenAI 04 Mini, hi, is it really using that in the custom prompt? pic.twitter.com/J1VV7arbex4. Debsish Pataniak, at Jerdebmath, April 16, 2025. In any event, the blowback illustrates the uncanny valley OpenAI might struggle to overcome in its efforts to make ChatGPT more personal for the people who use it. Last week, the company's CEO, Sam Altman, hinted at AI systems that get to know you over your life to become extremely useful and personalized. But judging by this latest wave of reactions, not everyone's sold on the idea. An article published by the Valens Clinic, a psychiatry office in Dubai, may shed some light on the visceral reactions to ChatGPT's name use. Names convey intimacy. But when a person, or chatbot, as the case may be, uses a name a lot, it comes across as inauthentic. Using an individual's name when addressing them directly is a powerful relationship-developing strategy, writes Valens. It denotes acceptance and admiration. However, undesirable or extravagant use can be looked at as fake and invasive. In a similar vein, perhaps another reason many people don't want ChatGPT using their name is that it feels ham-fisted, a clumsy attempt at anthropomorphizing an emotionless bot. In the same way that most folks wouldn't want their toaster calling them by their name, they don't want ChatGPT to pretend it understands a name's significance. This reporter certainly found it disquieting when O3 in ChatGPT earlier this week said it was doing research for Kyle. As of Friday, the change seemingly had been reverted. O3 called me user. It had the opposite of the intended effect, poking holes in the illusion that the underlying models are anything more than programmable, synthetic things. Special Air Quality Statement. Issued at Saturday 4:55 a.m. April 26, 2025. Issued by Environment and Climate Change Canada. Description. Elevated pollution levels are expected or occurring. Dust advisory in effect for Prince George. The Ministry of Environment and Parks in collaboration with the Northern Health Authority has issued a dust advisory for Prince George because of high concentrations of coarse particulate matter that are expected to persist until there is precipitation, dust suppression, or a change in traffic patterns. Levels tend to be highest around busy roads and industrial operations. This advisory is in effect until further notice. Exposure is particularly a concern for individuals with chronic conditions such as asthma, COPD, heart disease, and diabetes, respiratory infections such as COVID-19, pregnant women, infants, and older adults. Persons with chronic underlying medical conditions or acute infections should postpone or reduce strenuous exercise until the advisory is lifted. Where appropriate, maintain physical distancing. Anyone experiencing symptoms such as continuing eye or throat irritation, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, cough or wheezing should follow the advice of their healthcare provider. Staying indoors helps to reduce exposure. Real-time air quality observations and information regarding the health effects of air pollution can be found at https://www.gov.bc.ca/airquality. Coarse particulate matter refers to airborne solid or liquid droplets with diameters between 2.5 and 10 micrometers. Together with fine particulate matter, airborne solid or liquid droplets with diameters of 2.5 micrometers or less, these particles are referred to as PM10. Sources of PM10 contributing to this air quality episode include road dust from the emission of winter traction material along busy and dry road surfaces. PM10 can easily penetrate indoors because of their small size. ####. For more information on current air quality, visit https://www.gov.bc.ca/gov/content/environment/air-land-water/air. Visit http://www.airhealth.ca for information on how to reduce your health risk and your personal contribution to pollution levels, as well as for current and forecast AQHI values. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada.